Hi everybody, welcome to Lauren's Crazy Pet Show. We are so excited and delighted. We have a wonderful show for you. We're here in Stratford, Connecticut at Jared's Dog Park. And you have got to hear the story of how this came to be. And the two people next to me are very responsible for this. This is Rob and Karen, and the park is named after their son, Jared. And it's really sort of multi-dimensional, a little bit sad because Jared is gone, but happy because this is such a delightful spot and took you a long time to get this going.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it really did,
Yes.
but it's really in memory of your son.
Yes, it is, Lauren. Thank you very much. Yes, we've been working, or the dog park group has been working for a number of years trying to get a park in Stratford, and it was moving very slowly. And unfortunately, our son passed away on St. Patrick's Day in 2016, lingering injuries from being hit by a drunk driver. And he was a dog lover extraordinaire. He was a volunteer at Audubon. He was a volunteer at Trumbull Animal Group. He was an EMT here in Stratford, a volunteer firefighter, really gave back to the community as best he could. And he had 7 rescue dogs over the course of his life.
Most of whom he brought home.
Yeah.
Which one? Mom was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
7.
Yeah. Our son would get a dog, and it wouldn't be able to make stairs in the apartment he lived in. So we say we take it for a weekend, and 7 months later, we still have this dog in our house.
You were like foster failures
Yeah, we
from
were,
your
but,
son.
but they were wonderful dogs. And then about a year after he passed away, we got a settlement from the insurance company. And as part of the settlement, we knew that the dog park needed funding. So we had $25,000 that we donated to Dog Park Stratford and went before the town council and let them know that we were donating this funding to get the park started. They looked at various sites around town and picked this site here that used to be a ranger station in Roosevelt Forest. And they had a unanimous approval of giving us an 1.5 acres here to create a dog park, and they determined that it should be called Jared's Dog Park in memory of our son. So it's something really good coming out of something really horrific.
I know.
And his memory will live on here. We're going to be giving the people of Stratford a place where their dogs can socialize and run off leash and exercise. We have a 1/2 acre over here for small dogs, completely fenced with their own fountain. We have an acre on this side with their own fountain, also completely fenced. Wood chips you can see, so they'll have a nice soft area to run on.
And you and Jared always used to walk the dogs through the forest, so this was
I know, it's just
a
absolutely
real, and we
delightful.
live back that, it's closer to walk from here than it is to drive all the way around here.
And the area is just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, Roosevelt Forest is one of Stratford's gems. I mean, it's over 400 acres, and we're very pleased that the town, has let us build on this property here. So we thank them for that.
And all the people who have come out today to volunteer.
Well, a lot of these are the members of the Friends of Jared's Dog Park. That is our organization, that we're incorporated as a 501c3 because this is totally private funded. So we're just looking for donations and sponsorships. And actually where we are today at this stage of the park is we're in the final stages of looking for major business sponsorships for memorial benches, for water fountains. It's basically, you can get your message out there in your company name and it will be here forever, as opposed to, buying a foursome at a golf tournament and in a day it's gone.
Well, right.
Here your name will
Absolutely.
be, you'll be on a donor board. Your name will be recognized forever. We have a local electrician. Can I mention his name?
Sure.
Our local electrician, Rob Pirro, who is here in Stratford, and he's donated all his time and effort at no cost whatsoever to put the electric in. We have Hugh Gallagher, who's a pump specialist, and he's greatly discounted what he's doing to get the well up and running. The Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts are building obstacles and ramps and jumps, and we have some back here.
We have
can see
some
later.
today, so we're going to see some of that.
And our Eagle Scout and his dad built the little pavilion behind us.
Isn't that terrific?
Yeah.
So as his project, so
What
we
a
are very
nice-
grateful for that.
You must both feel really good about this.
We really do. I mean, it's a good way to memorialize him. And every now and then, if I see a hawk flying over or hear a crow in the distance, our son was very spiritual as opposed to being really religious. But he believed in nature's way and, taking care of Mother Nature. And this is something he would be proud. He'd be embarrassed as all get out because he didn't like any publicity or didn't be recognized.
Well, there you
I
go.
just hear him saying, "Oh, Mom, really?"
Don't they all say that, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because when we come back, We have got a wonderful story. We are going to travel to the Fairfield Birdcraft Museum to watch an ancient method of making sure and keeping track of birds and making sure they're okay. We're also going to introduce everybody to a woman, a wonderful artist whose son, and I know you sort of have this in common, going through a really hard time. His service dog actually reawakened in her desire to continue to draw.
Oh, how lovely.
I know, it's a beautiful story. And we're also going to go see some Newfies. You like Newfoundlands?
Oh, beautiful.
yeah.
Maybe there'll be one here today. We did a story on them, how wonderful they are in the water, on their water tests. Now we're going to go see them drafting.
Wow.
We went up to Rhinebeck, New York. So we're so happy to have you here. You're going to
Hi,
stick around. Here's
Brooklyn.
one of the
Hey,
little
buddy.
puppies from... Hi,
This is our friend's dog, Brooklyn.
There's Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's in the house. Everybody stay tuned. Lauren's Crazy Pet Show coming right back. Welcome back to Lauren's Crazy Pet Show. We are on location at Jared's Dog Park. These are his parents, Rob and Karen, and this park is so delightful. You can see in back of us, there are some Girl Scouts there hanging out. The park, again, is named after their only son who tragically passed away, but what a wonderful tribute you have here.
Thank you, and we're really pleased that you came down to do the show for us, so we appreciate that. And Jared volunteered at Audubon for many years, so that was a fascinating
I know, so now we're
section
going
there.
to...
It's a great
and-
connection.
Right, it's a great connection because we went to Fairfield, we went to the Birdcraft Museum, and we actually got to sit in on an ancient counting project.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. I love bird watching. There are so many beautiful different types of birds you might even spot in your own backyard. But did you ever wonder where some of those birds might come from? It's actually a really important thing to know. I'm at the Birdcraft Museum in Fairfield, Connecticut, where I'm actually taking part in one of the oldest methods that scientists use to track a bird's journey. And this is Patrick Cummings. He is the executive director of the Connecticut Audubon Society, and we are thrilled to be here, and this is called bird banding.
Yes, and birdcraft is really where it all started for the Connecticut Audubon Society. It's the second oldest bird sanctuary in the country, and during migration we put up these nets when the weather's right, and we catch birds and we affix these special bands that are issued by the government, and they have individual numbers on them. You can track what bird is what, and if they're ever recaptured, then there's records for how much it weighed, what its measurements were, where it was found. Then you can compare and contrast that, and it's a really important way to track timing of migration. Over the years you get a database that says, well, you know, this is when we find this species or that species, and that's particularly important in fall migration because it's a little harder to track the birds visually. It also gives us information on migratory routes and if they use the same stopover places year to year. Sometimes we recapture the birds in the tropics, so we can know a bird that may be stopping here, it may have spent the winter in a particular place in Costa Rica. It also gives information on longevity of birds.
And I want people to know that the birds are not harmed.
No, they have protocols on how long they can wait before checking on the nets to see if birds get caught in it. They go down and they bring them up in a special bag. The birds get very calm once they're in that bag. Then they take them out, they measure them, they check how much fat there is, they check their age, they affix the band on it, they record all that information, and then they release the bird again.
So Judy, you are actually the master bird bander here at the Connecticut Audubon and have had a great day today.
Yes, we had a lot of fun today. A lot of species coming north the first 2 weeks in May. And so we're banding. You have to have a license, a federal license. It's the Department of the Interior. And I have a bunch of people that help me called sub-permittees, and I have to list them with Fish and Wildlife. And we have a wonderful group. In fact, this morning we had someone who came as a child and is now studying at Brown, and he's taking a biology and ecology degree. So it's so fun to see people who are interested at a young age grow up and follow their dreams.
So Judy, what are you doing right now?
Well, I've just banded him. You can see he's wearing his bracelet, and now I'm going to measure him. I know what kind of bird it is. It's a Canada Warbler, and we have two, so it's fun because we have comparison. These look as if they're just males, but if I look at this plumage, you can see that there's some different color in these coverts. These are sort of brown, and this is gray-blue. So I think this was born last summer, so we call that a second-year bird. So that's what we're calling it, and he's very bright yellow, black necklace, black eyes. So he's a male, but he's a young male. So there's a few more things I need to know. has he got any fat? Like on a chicken, there's that cavity, it fills up with fat on birds. It's not the only place they collect fat, but it's easy for us to see it there, and he has no fat. So he's probably just arrived. And so then I want to measure how long his wing is. 66 on the wing. Now we need to know how much he weighs. We're going to have him go in the bag, the last indignity, because he won't sit on the scale. He'll fly around the room. He weighs only 10 grams. What does a penny weigh?
Penny is
three. So
3
he's
cents.
three
3 pennies.
Three pennies.
3 plus pennies.
So Patrick, this is really important.
Yes, it's an important study because of the scale of it. People are all over the continent banding birds, migrating birds. They're banding them on the nesting areas, they're banding on the wintering grounds. So it gives us a tremendous amount of information in aggregate from all of these studies that gives scientists an idea on how long birds can live, what their migratory routes are, their timing, what particular habitats they use for nesting and for migration. And there are all sorts of specialized studies that include bird banding. Field readable bands for shorebirds. They put on little flags on piping plovers so that you can identify an individual easily in the field. They put it on in the Bahamas, and then they show up here in Connecticut, and we know that those piping plovers winter in the Bahamas. And now new technology is emerging too, where they're actually putting on trackers on birds that are very tiny, and then they're picked up on these towers called mostest towers. And we actually have a tower up at our Deer Pond Farm Sanctuary in Sherman, Connecticut, where anytime just a bird just flies by, it gives a signal, the receiver picks it up, and we know when the bird is flying by. So we're getting to learn a lot more about migration, and millions of birds fly over this area every spring and every fall.
You like that, right?
Oh, that was amazing. I mean, and it's just such a wonderful thing to do for the birds to help preserve them.
No birds hurt.
No.
It was fascinating, and to see wild birds that close,
Yeah.
love it, love it, love
Amazing.
it. Many wild birds here too, but okay. When we come back, we are going to meet a woman whose passion for art was re-sparked by her son's service dog.
Oh.
I know, they're a blessing. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Lauren's Crazy Pet Show continues on location in Stratford at Jared's Dog Park with Rob and Karen, Jared's parents, who made this beautiful park happen, but it's still sort of happening, right?
Yes, it is
see
a
the
work in
bulldozer
progress. Yeah,
behind
we have
us.
a bulldozer, we have wood chips. We're still getting more wood chips getting delivered, but we're hoping that if things go according to schedule, late spring, early summer, the town of Stratford will have Jared's Dog Park officially open, and all these dogs that are on leash can be off leash.
I think you're going to love this story. We met a woman who is an incredible artist, but she sort of lost her interest until her son got a service dog, and the service dog reignited her passion for drawing.
Wow.
Take a look at this.
Thank you.
Now, Barb, I'm a huge fan of yours on Instagram.
thank you.
I saw your drawings and could not believe how incredibly talented you are.
Oh, that means so much to me. Thank you so much.
I understand that you got started because of your son's dog.
Absolutely. When my son got back from Iraq, he had a service dog, Sophie, and he came to live with us for a while. And I had always drawn since I was a child, but had not been drawing as much as I probably should have been. And Sophie was really my muse, and I did a portrait of her, and it just kind of lit a fire. I fell in love with dogs' faces, the emotional quality of their faces, the expressiveness. It kind of snowballed from there, and I just couldn't stop. And, you know, I just wanted another dog and another dog to draw and another dog after that.
Can you believe the power of an animal? I
No,
mean,
it's
not
just
only
amazing.
was your son going through some really tough difficulties, but you were sort of at a dormant period, and then here comes Sophie, and your lives all changed.
Exactly. She was just the catalyst for so many wonderful things in our life, and she really is quite an extraordinary animal, and the power of dogs is astonishing the more I learn, and she's just wonderful.
What do you see when you're drawing some of your muses?
Well, the first thing I try to do is capture their eyes, and their eyes are really the window to their soul, as you know, which is pretty obvious. And once you capture the eyes and what's kind of going on in that animal, you can capture the soul of that animal. And then I like to know a little something about the animal or about the people, and I will fill that in the background in varying ways. If it's something just for myself, a lot of times I'm drawn to urban imagery, antique signs, neon signs, all sorts of carnival imagery, just things that are joyous and colorful and bright. and just radiate happiness. I have one I drew of a dog that's just smiling, and there's a billboard. I found a photograph of a billboard in New York that actually says "Fearless." And it's an actual billboard. I've only seen photos. I haven't been there, but I hear it does exist. And the Fearless billboard is in the background. I just think that says a lot. And a lot of times I'll try to put messages in the dog tags, you know, yes, or voice for have a voice. One of my dogs says, see me, you know, to see everybody, you know, not to marginalize anybody, you know, to see that I'm here or see that everybody's there. So there's little hidden messages of hope and positivity within the drawings. I did a drawing of dogs on a subway, and it's an entire train filled with dogs, and they're just beside themselves, happy and smiling, and there's a cat thrown in there here and there. And
Because you do have a cat, we should tell people it's not just a dog thing. You will draw any kind of animal.
Absolutely. I will draw any kind of animal, and I do cats from time to time, or anything.
And I have to say, I am absolutely delighted and completely surprised that you have drawn the most marvelous, marvelous, marvelous portrait of my Inoki.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it.
I love it. What went into that? You surprised me today with it.
It was just so much fun. You had said that you wanted to see me doing my work, and I thought, what would be better than to draw Inoki? And of course, Inoki's all over your show and the internet, so there's all sorts of information about Inoki. I know he doesn't like to take a bath.
That is very true.
And I got the feeling that I've heard you love the theater in New York, so I thought, let's put him on a subway. And let's have lots of the animals that you have interviewed or featured on your program be in the subway with Inoki. And
Well,
it was fun.
I love it, and I want to share you with everyone, so I want people to know how they can get in touch with you. I want them to go on Instagram and see your work, because I think they will just love it the second they see it. So how can people get in touch with you, Barb?
They can go to my email at barbaraventofertac@gmail.com or my Instagram at barbaraventofertac, and they can private message me from there.
Wasn't that great?
It was wonderful. Dogs always bring out the best in us.
They do.
I didn't know life without a dog, although we don't have one at the moment. I think we will eventually again.
Oh, and they'll be so
After
lucky
we
to have you
lost
as
our
parents.
grandpups.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know she drew that picture of my Inoki, and I cherish it. It's just really lovely, and I love the story, and I thank her son for being a part of it as well. So when we get back, we are going to show you the power of a Newfoundland. Do you know what drafting is?
Not really.
Okay, good. When we come back, you'll find out. Okay. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Lauren's Crazy Pet Show. We continue in Stratford, Connecticut at Jared's Dog Park. This is Rob and Karen, Jared's parents, and I am just admiring this space for this dog park. It's fabulous.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we were really fortunate. I
extensive.
mean, it's a 300-foot run
Wow.
on both sides for the long dog park. So these big dogs, and they'll be able to have some good speed built up back
They're
and
going to be
forth.
so happy here. When I come back, I want to be a dog.
Hey, I wouldn't mind
I
that.
want to be my dog.
Exactly.
Because, well, they are man's best friend, and they are the most loyal companions you could ever imagine.
They are so fantastic. And recently we got to see a dog doing what it was bred to do, which is really always thrilling. We had went and seen Newfoundlands doing water tests because they are incredible swimmers, but didn't realize that they also excelled in drafting.
Now tell me what that is
It's
exactly.
pulling a cart. Take a look. Watch this. You won't
okay.
believe it.
Wow.
Wow, look at this. This is a Newfie with a cart walking around a course. And Donna, you are a judge here because this is an actual sport.
It is. Newfoundlands were bred to work alongside the fishermen in villages up in Canada, and to be a fishing dog, a helper. They did water work, but they have also been trained to do draft work. They pull the cart. They used to pull the fish load in from the ships to the refineries and get the fish ready for market, and then they'd often take the cart to the market with the family to get the weekly groceries.
It's just so funny to see in modern time them doing it right here, really what they were bred to do, as you say.
Exactly, and we in the Newfoundland Club of America want to preserve that in our breed, the ability for the dogs to work with their handler as a team, and to do so we have come up with this set of activities for the dogs and handlers to do, where they have to show cooperation in harnessing and hitching to a cart, going through a maneuvering course where there's left turns, right turns, circles, going through narrow areas, and stopping when they're told so that they're under control. A lot of training goes into this. Jackson and Heidi have been working together for many, many months, and and they've developed teamwork and they've developed a rapport. So Jackson sort of knows what Heidi wants him to do, and with just that little bit of direction to turn left or to turn right or to stop, he will follow her commands and follow her lead.
Now, we saw you actually at the water test, which
Yes.
we absolutely loved, and that's why we're here, because we said we have got to show people this drafting. What was very interesting is many of those dogs were being tested on water rescue. This is another aspect of a Newfie's personality, doing the drafting.
Yes.
But does every Newfie want to do water or drafting, or some don't want to?
No, some don't want to do either. I have one at home that doesn't want to do either. But typically, if a dog is a working dog, they're going to want to do the water and they're going to want to do the draft, any activity. If you've got a dog that really enjoys working with their people, their handler, their owner, their partner, they're going to do whatever they can to have fun together.
Now, Nancy, talk about exactly what the course was set up for today.
For the beginner draft dog title, things are a little bit less in degrees of difficulty than they do for the regular draft dog. This is the first time we've come out with a beginner draft dog title. It came out in July, approved by the Newfoundland Club of America. And instead of doing like a mile freight haul with the dog, they do a half a mile. Also, you notice the dog was on leash the entire time. You're required to have a 6-foot leash. It has to be a slack leash, where in the draft dog title, the next level up, everything is off leash. So she's still training to get ready for the next level.
Now, why are these tests so important?
I think they're very important because that's what a Newfoundland is. It's a working dog. And Newfoundland should do it all. They're great family pets, family dogs. I do a lot of therapy dog work, and they're perfect for that. And even though he's not out drafting, he's not out carting, he's still working. It's a working dog. That's one thing that's really great about this particular breed. You can do a lot of stuff with them. You are working with your dog, and it's the team together that's doing the work, whether it be the team in the water work or the team as we saw today with the handler with the dog doing the draft work. It's all teamwork. So whatever it is you're doing, you're spending time with your dog, you're developing that bond, you're getting the team going, and that's what it's all about. When I even do my reading with the dog, it's the team. We go in as a team together.
So isn't that amazing? Because the Newfie was built for not only swimming, but also muscles to be able to do that drafting. So, you know, that's like an innate. Lovely, lovely.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Love all dogs
You're
and cats too.
teaching us something new today.
That's it. We're not leaving out cats. Hopefully there'll be cat parts soon. So please let us know how we can help you out, because we're still sort of progressing, but we want everybody to get involved.
Thank you, thank you. As I mentioned earlier, jaredsdogpark.org is our website. The Friends of Jared's Dog Park on Facebook. We have numerous sponsorship opportunities for park benches, for water fountains, for memorial plaques. Support is greatly appreciated, and with your help, we can make this a reality for not only the people of Stratford, but any dog is welcome from any town.
Any dog welcome.
That's
We love
right.
that.
Come on out and let
Bring
them
my
run and
Inoki
play.
over. What a nice memory you have here.
Thank
what
you.
A beautiful
Thank you.
memorial.
A mother's idea with a father to carry it through.
I love it. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Lauren.
everybody out there. This
Thank
has
you
been
very much.
Lauren's
Thank
Crazy
you.
Pet
Thank
Show.
you for the opportunity. Bye-bye.